Hello, I'm Jaehyun Park. Please listen to my heartbreaking story. I'm 68 years old this year. I taught Korean language at a middle school for 35 years. Before retiring last year, I have a calm personality, and when problems arise, I tend to solve them logically rather than emotionally. But when it comes to family matters, my heart always softens. When my wife Young-suk cries, I cry with her. When my children struggle, I stay up all night worrying. That's the kind of father I've been. After retirement, I decided to take my first 3-day trip with some friends. We planned to visit the Gangwon province area. Actually, my wife Young-suk never liked it when I left home. So this time, I asked her carefully, "Honey, I'm thinking of going away with my friends for a couple of days. Would that be okay?" But unexpectedly, my daughter-in-law Mina stepped forward first. "Father, don't worry. I'll take good care of Mother. Please enjoy your trip." She smiled brightly and even waved her hand. It felt a little strange to see my daughter-in-law being so proactive, but I felt more grateful than anything. Double tap to continue. Before you continue, please hit subscribe and like, it really helps. My wife also held my hand and said, "Honey, you've worked so hard. Have a great time with your friends." "I'll be fine." Hearing those words made me feel so much lighter. While I packed my travel bag, my wife helped me organize my clothes and checked my medicine packets, reminding me, "Make sure you take this with you." Everything seemed perfectly normal, just like always. On the morning of my departure, as I put on my shoes at the entrance, my wife said from behind, "Travel safely. I'll be here waiting." At that moment, I had no idea. That would be the last conversation I'd have with my wife. The trip was enjoyable. I hiked mountains with my friends, drank rice wine, and shared old stories. I tried calling my wife a few times, but she didn't answer. When I contacted my daughter-in-law, she just replied, "Mother is sleeping." I didn't think much of it at the time. 3 days later, I returned home. The moment I opened the front door and stepped inside, I felt something was wrong. The house was too quiet. Normally, my wife would have greeted me with "You're home," but there was no sound at all. "Honey, I'm home." There was no answer. I looked around the living room. The potted plant my wife loved, the reading glasses that were always on the living room table, none of it was there. The feeling that something was terribly wrong became certain. I rushed to the master bedroom. The moment I opened the door and stepped inside, I felt like I couldn't breathe. My wife's closet was completely empty. It wasn't just her clothes. The comb, cream, and medicine packets that had been on her vanity were all gone. Even the drawers had been cleaned out completely. My hands trembled. My heart raced. I hurried to the living room and called my daughter-in-law. "Mina, where's Mom? There's nothing left in the house." My daughter-in-law was silent for a moment, then answered in a calm voice, "Father, Mother went to a nursing home." The moment I heard those words, my mind went blank. A nursing home? My wife? It made no sense. My wife was someone who would cry and refuse whenever nursing homes were even mentioned. That wife went to a nursing home on her own? What are you talking about? Why would Mom go to a nursing home? She wanted to, Father. She said she didn't want to be a burden to you. My daughter-in-law's tone was polite, but somehow it felt cold, like she was hiding something. I wanted to ask more, but my voice was shaking and I couldn't speak properly. After hanging up, I stood there for a long time. I stared at my wife's empty closet, the empty vanity, all the traces that had disappeared. Something's wrong. My wife didn't go on her own. Someone definitely sent her away. And I made a decision. I would uncover the truth, no matter what. What would you do if the traces of the person most precious to you in your home disappeared overnight? The house was quiet. Too quiet. As if my wife had never lived in this house at all. Everything was neatly organized. I began to slowly look around the house again. From the living room to the master bedroom, the small room, even the bathroom. I was searching for any trace of my wife. I opened the living room drawer. The notebook my wife often used should have been there, but the space was empty. My wife had a habit of writing everything down. Hospital appointments, medicine times, even grocery lists. But that notebook was gone. I went to the kitchen. The family photo that used to hang next to the refrigerator was gone. The tea set my wife cherished was nowhere to be seen. When I opened the drawer under the sink, all the blood pressure medication, digestive aids, and vitamins my wife had been taking were missing. I returned to the master bedroom. I opened the closet and looked in every corner. There were no clothes hanging on the hangers, and the drawers were empty. Even the scent of my wife that used to linger on her clothes was gone, as if someone had deliberately erased it. I opened the vanity drawers one by one. The comb, mirror, cosmetics, nail clippers, not even a single hairpin remained. This wasn't just hastily packing. It was evidence of planned, thorough erasure. I looked under the bed. The small box my wife used to keep there was gone. Inside that box were letters and old photos my wife treasured. I couldn't believe they had taken even those things. I collapsed onto the living room sofa. My hands were shaking. My mind was in turmoil. If my wife really left on her own, why didn't she say a word to me? Until 3 days ago, everything was normal, so how does it make sense that she suddenly went to a nursing home? And why would she leave erasing all traces like this? I picked up the phone and dialed my wife's number. The ringtone sounded, but she didn't answer. I called again. Still no answer. Third time, fourth time, I kept calling, but the result was the same. I called my son Joho. Joho, do you know where Mom is? I heard she went to a nursing home. Which nursing home? Father, I don't know exactly either. Mina said she took care of it. Mina took care of it? What do you mean? Why don't you know where Mom went? Father, I've been busy too. I left it to Mina. I'll ask her later. My son's voice was very calm, as if this wasn't a big deal at all. I felt anger rising but held it back. I also called my daughter Nakyung. Nakyung, do you know where Mom is? Dad, didn't sister-in-law tell you? Mom went to a nursing home. I know that already. Which nursing home? Oh, I don't know exactly either. You'll have to ask sister-in-law. Even my daughter couldn't give me a clear answer. The whole family was responding the same way, as if they had coordinated their responses. I called my daughter-in-law again. Mina, where is the nursing home where Mom is staying? Father, visiting isn't allowed right now. It's the adjustment period. I'll contact you in a little while. Adjustment period? What are you talking about? I can't go see Mom? I'm sorry, Father. It's the nursing home's rule. They restrict family visits for the first week. My daughter-in-law's tone was still polite, but I could sense firmness in it, as if everything was already decided. Mina, I'm Mom's husband. Don't I have the right to know? Of course, Father. But Mother asked me not to tell you for the time being. Mom did? Why? She was worried you'd be concerned, Father. She said if you came, her heart would weaken. My daughter-in-law's words were logical, but something felt off. My wife would never have said such things. She was someone who consulted with me about everything. Still, shouldn't I at least be able to call her? The nursing home restricts cell phone use for health management purposes. Then give me the nursing home's phone number. I'll call them directly. My daughter-in-law was silent for a moment. Then she took out her phone, checked something, and said, I'm sorry, Father. I can't remember the number right now. I'll text it to you later. I couldn't take it anymore. Anger welled up inside me. Mina, are you lying to me right now? My daughter-in-law's expression hardened. Her smile disappeared. Father, what are you saying? Why would I lie? Then why are you avoiding this? You won't tell me the nursing home's name, phone number, or address. Father, I'm not avoiding it. I'm respecting Mother's wishes. She wanted this. My daughter-in-law didn't raise her voice. Rather, she spoke even more calmly. That was even more frightening. Just then, the front door opened and my son came in. Father, what's going on? My daughter-in-law approached my son and whispered something. My son nodded and looked at me. Father, Mina handled Mom's situation well. Don't worry. Joho, do you know where Mom is? I don't know exactly either, but Mina said she found a good place. You don't know either? You don't know where your own mother is? My son made an awkward expression. Then he looked at my daughter-in-law. My daughter-in-law held my son's hand and said, Honey, please explain to Father. My son looked at me and said, Father, Mom is getting older now. It's better for her to receive professional care at a nursing home than to be alone. Mina researched carefully and sent her. Hearing my son's words, I felt defeated. I couldn't believe my own son was taking my daughter-in-law's side. Are you two hiding something? My daughter-in-law spoke calmly. Father, why would we hide anything? We did this for Mother. Hearing those words, I was certain they were definitely hiding something, and the reason they were hiding it was definitely not good. I stopped talking and stood up from my seat. Fine, I'll find out myself. On the way home, I organized my thoughts. My daughter-in-law's attitude, my son's reaction, everything was intentional. The whole family was united on one side. I realized I had to fight alone now. Can you recognize when the person closest to you is telling the biggest lie? The next morning, I decided to meet my daughter-in-law in person. There were limits to what I could do over the phone. I felt I could learn something if I talked face to face. I went to my son's house. When I rang the doorbell, my daughter-in-law opened the door. Father, what brings you here? You should have called. What if you came suddenly like this? She greeted me with a bright smile. Her attitude was no different than usual. Mina, I came about Mom. I couldn't talk properly on the phone yesterday. Oh, I see. Please come in, Father. I was led to the living room. My daughter-in-law brought out tea. I took a sip of tea and asked carefully, Mina, Is it true that mom really went to a nursing home? Yes, father. Mother wanted to go. But why didn't she say anything to me? Until 3 days ago, she didn't say a word. My daughter-in-law put down her tea for a moment and looked at me. Her eyes were cold. Her smile remained, but those eyes weren't smiling at all. Father, Mother said she didn't want to burden you. She made the decision while you were traveling. That can't be. Mom is someone who would cry just at the mention of nursing homes. She would suddenly decide alone? People's hearts change, Father. Maybe Mother's thoughts changed as she got older. My daughter-in-law's tone was still polite, but the meaning contained within was clear. Stop asking questions. Then where is the nursing home where Mom is staying? I need to go check for myself. Father, I told you, visiting isn't allowed right now because it's the adjustment period. How long is the adjustment period? About a week. I'll contact you after that. My daughter-in-law answered with a smile, but that smile somehow felt fake. Mina, I'm Mom's husband. Don't I have the right to know? Of course, Father. But Mother asked me not to tell you for now. Mom did? Why? She was worried you'd be concerned. Mother said if you came, her heart would weaken. My daughter-in-law's words were logical, but something didn't add up. My wife would never have said such things. She was someone who consulted with me about everything. Still, shouldn't I at least be able to call her once? The nursing home restricts cell phone use for health management purposes. Then give me the nursing home's phone number. I'll call directly. My daughter-in-law was silent for a moment. Then she took out her phone, checked something, and said, I'm sorry, Father. I can't remember the number right now. I'll text it to you later. I couldn't hold back anymore. Anger surged within me. Mina, are you lying to me right now? My daughter-in-law's expression stiffened. Her smile disappeared. Father, what are you saying? Why would I lie? Then why are you avoiding this? You won't tell me the nursing home's name, phone number, or address. Father, I'm not avoiding it. I'm respecting Mother's wishes. She wanted this. My daughter-in-law didn't raise her voice. Rather, she spoke even more calmly. That was even more frightening. Just then, the front door opened and my son came in. Father, what's going on? My daughter-in-law approached my son and whispered something. My son nodded and looked at me. Father, Mina handled Mom's situation well. Don't worry. Joho, do you know where Mom is? I don't know exactly either, but Nina said she took her to a good place. You don't know either? You don't know where your own mother is? My son made an awkward expression. Then he looked at my daughter-in-law. My daughter-in-law held my son's hand and said, Honey, please explain to Father. My son looked at me and said, Father, Mom is getting older. It's better for her to receive professional care at a nursing home than to be alone. Mina researched carefully and sent her. Hearing my son's words, I felt defeated. I couldn't believe my own son was taking my daughter-in-law's side. Are you two hiding something? My daughter-in-law spoke calmly. Father, why would we hide anything? We did this for Mother. Hearing those words, I was certain they were definitely hiding something, and the reason for hiding it was definitely not good. I stopped talking and stood up from my seat. Fine, I'll find out myself. On the way home, I organized things in my mind. My daughter-in-law's attitude, my son's reaction, everything was intentional. The whole family was tightly united on one side. I realized I now had to fight alone. Truth always begins with small contradictions. Can you find those contradictions? When I got home, I opened my notebook. I reread what I had written since yesterday. Then I started organizing my conversation with my daughter-in-law on a new page. My daughter-in-law said, Mother wanted to go. But if that were true, why didn't my wife say anything to me? Until 3 days ago, everything was normal. Even while packing my travel bag, even while preparing my medicine, she showed no sign of anything. My wife wasn't someone who made decisions alone. She consulted with me about even small things. When going grocery shopping, when making hospital appointments, she always asked, would such a person make one of the biggest decisions in her life, entering a nursing home, all by herself? It doesn't make sense. I picked up my pen and wrote in the notebook. First contradiction: my wife doesn't make decisions alone. So her deciding to enter a nursing home alone doesn't make logical sense. My daughter-in-law also said, Mother said she didn't want to burden you, Father. But my wife lived her whole life relying on me. We solved everything together. Would such a wife suddenly leave saying she doesn't want to burden me? This doesn't make sense either. Second contradiction: my wife is someone who relies on me. She's not someone who would leave because she's a burden. My daughter-in-law wouldn't tell me the nursing home's name, address, or phone number. The reason was adjustment period. But even if nursing homes have adjustment periods, not giving the family even contact information is strange. What if there's an emergency? Third contradiction: she won't give any nursing home information. This isn't normal procedure. I called my daughter. Nakyung, it's Dad. I need to ask you about Mom. Dad, What is it? Did mom contact you before going to the nursing home? My daughter was silent for a moment, then answered. No, she didn't. I heard from sister-in-law. So you didn't see mom? No, I was busy and couldn't. Why didn't you go see her when she was going to a nursing home? Sister-in-law said it was okay. She said mom wanted it. My daughter also repeated the same words as my daughter-in-law, as if there was a script. Young, do you really think so? That mom went to a nursing home on her own? My daughter paused for a moment. Then she said carefully, Dad, mom must have been struggling too. As she got older, it must have been hard for you to take care of her alone. What? Mom was struggling? Who said that? Sister-in-law said so. She said mom often said she was having a hard time. I got angry. My daughter-in-law had lied even to my daughter. Young, mom never said that. Mom was living happily with me. Dad, but sister-in-law said, don't believe what she says. Something's wrong. My daughter stammered, flustered. Dad, what are you saying? Why would sister-in-law lie? I don't know either, but she's definitely hiding something. After hanging up, I sighed. Even my daughter was on my daughter-in-law's side. Or rather, she was believing my daughter-in-law's words as they were. I wrote in my notebook again. Fourth contradiction: everyone in the family just repeats my daughter-in-law's words. No one verified anything directly. Evening came. I called the hospital my wife used to visit. I wanted to talk to my wife's doctor. Hello, this is Jaehyun Park. Is the doctor who treats my wife Young Suk Seo available? The nurse answered, yes, just a moment. I'll check for you. After a moment, the doctor picked up the phone. Yes, Mr. Park. What can I do for you? Doctor, I heard my wife went to a nursing home. Did she mention it to you? A nursing home? No, this is the first I'm hearing of it. Is your wife's condition bad enough for a nursing home? No, she was healthy. But I heard she suddenly went to a nursing home. The doctor said with puzzlement, that's strange. Even at her last checkup, there were no special problems. Her blood pressure was stable and her health was good. So there's no reason for her to go to a nursing home? Medically speaking, no. There was no problem with her daily life at all. Hearing the doctor's words, I was certain. My wife had no reason to go to a nursing home. Someone forced her there. I wrote the last sentence in my notebook. Fifth contradiction: my wife was healthy. There was absolutely no medical reason for her to go to a nursing home. The night grew late. I closed my notebook and looked out the window. The streetlights glowed faintly. Nothing added up. My daughter-in-law's words, my son's attitude, my daughter's reaction. The whole family was speaking with one voice, as if they were all moving according to a script someone had written. I was now certain. My wife didn't go on her own. She was sent by someone, and that someone had planned very meticulously. I picked up my pen again. Now it was time to find evidence. Those who hide the truth erase traces, but perfect erasure doesn't exist. The next morning, I woke up early. I hadn't slept properly. My mind was complicated, and I tossed and turned all night thinking about my wife. Today I decided to look around the house more carefully. I thought there might be something I missed yesterday. First, I went to the study. I opened the desk drawers one by one. The ledger my wife often used should have been there, but the space was empty. That ledger recorded monthly household expenses. My wife was meticulous and recorded everything from allowances to hospital bills. That ledger disappearing meant someone deliberately took it. Why? Was there some important information in it? I turned on the computer. My wife sometimes used email. I tried to log into my wife's account. I entered the password, but it was wrong. I tried again, but same result. This was strange. I knew my wife's password. It was our wedding anniversary, but the password had been changed. Someone changed it. I checked the phone records. I tried to access my wife's call history through the Carrier app, but I couldn't log in. The password had been changed. Someone definitely did this on purpose. I muttered to myself. They had blocked my wife's email and phone, so my wife and I couldn't contact each other. I went to the master bedroom. I opened the closet again. I felt around in every corner with my hands. Then I found a small piece of paper on the top shelf of the closet. When I unfolded the paper, it was a pharmacy receipt. The date was a week ago, the day my wife bought medicine. The receipt listed blood pressure medication, digestive aids, and vitamin names. If she bought medicine a week ago, that means my wife was planning to continue living in this house. If my wife had been planning to go to a nursing home, why did she buy medicine a week ago? Nursing homes provide medicine, so there would have been no need to buy any. I tucked the receipt into my notebook. This was also important evidence. I went to the kitchen. I opened the refrigerator. The kimchi my wife loved was still there. When I checked the expiration date, it had a month left. There were also several side dish containers, all recently made. If my wife was planning to go to a nursing home, Why did she make so many side dishes? This was also a contradiction. There was no reason for someone planning to leave to make side dishes. I returned to the living room. I looked through the bookshelf. Then I found a photo tucked between books. In the photo were my wife, me, and our children together. It was taken on a family trip long ago. On the back of the photo, in my wife's handwriting, it said, "Our family, always together." The moment I saw that writing, tears came. My wife loved our family. She always wanted to be together. Would such a wife leave alone? It was absolutely impossible. I sat on the sofa holding the photo. I stared at the photo for a long time. My wife's smiling face caught my eye. "Honey, where are you? Why did this happen?" Just then, my phone rang. It was my son-in-law Minsu. "Father, it's Minsu." "Minsu, what's going on?" "Father, you must be very worried about Mother." "Of course. I don't even know where Mom is." My son-in-law was silent for a moment, then said carefully, "Father, I think it would be best to follow what my brother-in-law says." "Brother-in-law? You mean Joho?" "Yes, he must have made the best choice for Mother." Even my son-in-law took my daughter-in-law's side. I was angry but held back. "Minsu, you're Nakyung's husband too. If your mother-in-law suddenly disappeared, would you just sit still?" My son-in-law couldn't answer. "Minsu, I want to know the truth. Where Mom is, why this happened." "Father, I don't know well either. Please ask my brother-in-law." After hanging up, I sighed. The whole family was on one side. Everyone except me. Afternoon came. I looked around the house again. I opened the bathroom cabinet. All the cosmetics my wife used were gone. Even her toothbrush was missing. This is too thorough. As if they're trying to erase the very trace that my wife lived here. I took out my notebook and wrote. All traces were systematically removed. Email password changed. Call records blocked. All personal items removed. This is not a coincidence. Evening came. I didn't eat dinner. I had no appetite. Instead, I opened my notebook and organized what I had found so far. Pharmacy receipt from a week ago, side dishes in the refrigerator, family photo. All of this is evidence that my wife was planning to keep living here. The night grew late. I looked out the window. Lights twinkled in the darkness. Someone took my wife. Systematically, thoroughly, and erased all traces. But there's no perfect crime. There's always a gap. I will find that gap, without fail. When all your family members tell the same lie, what lies behind it? Several days passed. Every day I organized what I found in my notebook. I became more and more certain. This wasn't a simple nursing home admission. Today I decided to meet my daughter in person. I had hoped that my daughter would be more honest than my daughter-in-law. I went to my daughter's house. When I rang the doorbell, my daughter opened the door. "Dad, how did you come here?" "Nakyung, let's talk about Mom." "Come in." I sat in the living room. My daughter brought out tea. "Nakyung, answer me honestly. Do you really believe Mom went to a nursing home on her own?" My daughter hesitated for a moment, then answered. "Dad, sister-in-law said so." "Not what she said. I'm asking what you think." My daughter avoided eye contact. It seemed like she wanted to say something but was holding back. "Nakyung, don't hide from Dad. If you know something, tell me." My daughter hesitated for a long time, then opened her mouth carefully. "Dad, actually, I thought it was a bit strange too." "What was strange?" "When sister-in-law told me on the phone, it was too sudden. About Mom going to a nursing home. So I asked her, did Mom really want to?" "So what did she say?" "Sister-in-law said Mom was struggling, that it was hard for you to take care of her alone." I got angry. "That's a lie. Mom was living happily with me. She never once said it was hard." My daughter lowered her head. "Dad, but sister-in-law said Mom cried often." "What? Mom cried?" "Yes. She only told sister-in-law that she felt like a burden to you as she got older." I couldn't believe it. My wife would never say such things. "Nakyung, that's something she made up. Mom isn't like that." My daughter made an anxious expression. "Dad, then are you saying sister-in-law lied?" "That's the only explanation. Nothing else makes sense." My daughter thought for a moment, then said, "Dad, but why would sister-in-law tell such a lie? What's the reason?" "I want to know that too. That's why I want to hear what you think." My daughter pondered for a while, then said carefully, "Dad, could it be about money?" "Money? Yes, you have your pension and assets." "Maybe because of that." I was shocked by my daughter's words. "Surely not. But thinking about it, it was possible." "Nakyung, has she talked about money?" "Not directly, but sometimes she talked about managing your assets, Dad." "About who should manage them?" "So? I said you could handle it yourself, Dad." "Then sister-in-law said someone should help you since you're getting older." I became more and more certain that my daughter-in-law's purpose might be money. "Nakyung, has she ever talked about Mom's bank account or cards?" My daughter nodded. "Yes, She has. Sister-in-law said she would manage mom's bank account. What did mom say? I don't know. I only heard from sister-in-law. My mind was complicated. My daughter-in-law even tried to manage my wife's bank account. Young. So who's managing mom's account now? Probably sister-in-law. I needed to check right away. Young, can you ask your brother about what happened to mom's account? My daughter made an awkward expression. Dad, if I ask him, he'll probably ask me why. Still, please help Dad. I'm asking you. My daughter thought for a moment, then nodded. Okay, Dad. I'll ask once. On the way home, I was lost in thought. Money. That might be the reason for all of this. As soon as I got home, I rummaged through the drawers. I needed to find copies of my wife's and my bank statements. After searching for a while, I found bank statement copies deep in the study drawer. I checked the account history. Over the past month, money had been withdrawn from my wife's account several times. The amounts weren't small. 1,000,001 at a time, 5 times total. What's this? Why did mom withdraw so much money? I called the bank. Hello, this is the account holder. I'd like to check recent withdrawal history. The bank employee answered, I'll verify your identity first. After identity verification, the employee said, there were 5 withdrawals in the past month. Where was it withdrawn? Not at our branch, but at another branch. Which branch? Just a moment. It's a branch near Mr. Joho's house. Joho, my son's name. The bank near the neighborhood where my daughter-in-law lives. Can you confirm who made the withdrawals? I'm sorry, but we can't provide that information. After hanging up, I was certain my daughter-in-law was using my wife's account. I wrote in my notebook, 5,000,001 withdrawn from wife's account over a month. Withdrawal location near daughter-in-law's house. Daughter-in-law is managing wife's account. Night fell. I sat on the sofa and thought, if my daughter-in-law's purpose is money, the reason for sending my wife to a nursing home also makes sense. Without my wife, managing the account becomes easier. But there was still an unanswered question. Where is my wife now? Is she really at a nursing home? I decided to check for myself tomorrow. Even if my daughter-in-law won't tell me, I'll find out myself. Truth hides in the numbers. Can you read those numbers? The next morning, I woke up early and got ready. Today I plan to go to the bank in person to check my wife's account history. I arrived at the bank. I told the teller, I'd like to check transaction history for my wife's account. I'll verify your identity first. Did you bring the bank book? Yes, here it is. After identity verification, I printed out the transaction history. The moment I received the paper, I felt dizzy. Over the past 3 months, a total of 15,000,001 had been withdrawn from my wife's account. 5,000,001 per month. All withdrawn from the same branch. The bank near my daughter-in-law's house. What is this? So much money. I asked the employee, is there any way to confirm who made the withdrawals? I'm sorry. That's personal information, so we can't tell you. However, if it was withdrawn with the bank book and password, it's likely the account holder an authorized person. Authorized person? Yes, someone who knows the password. I returned home. I sat on the living room sofa and looked at the account history again. My hands trembled. It was clear my daughter-in-law used my wife's account. My wife was someone who wouldn't tell anyone her password. She didn't even tell me. So how did my daughter-in-law find out? Then I suddenly remembered. The day before I left on the trip, I saw my daughter-in-law talking with my wife for a long time. Did she find out the password then? I opened my notebook. 15,000,001 withdrawn over 3 months. All at bank near daughter-in-law's house. Presumed daughter-in-law tricked wife into getting password. Afternoon came. My daughter called. Dad, I asked my brother. So? He said sister-in-law is managing mom's account. Just as I thought. So Joho knew about it? Yes, he knew. But he said sister-in-law is doing it for mom's sake. For mom's sake? That doesn't make sense. Dad, he said they're using it to pay for mom's nursing home fees. I was puzzled. Nursing home fees cost 5,000,001 per month? That was too expensive. Young, where is there a nursing home that expensive? I don't know either. When I asked him, he said it's expensive because it's a good place. After hanging up, I searched the internet to find out about nursing home costs. Search results showed that regular nursing homes cost between 1 to 2,000,001 per month. Even the best places rarely exceeded 3,000,001. Then what's 5,000,001 for? That's not nursing home fees. I was certain. My daughter-in-law was lying. She was embezzling my wife's money under the guise of nursing home fees. I wrote in my notebook again. Nursing home fees are maximum 3,000,001 per month. 5,000,001 is excessive. High possibility daughter-in-law is pocketing the difference. Evening came. I thought I should check my account too. What if money was being taken from my account as well? I took out my bank book from the study drawer. I checked recent transaction history. Fortunately, there were no suspicious withdrawals. But I found one strange thing. A month ago, An insurance policy was enrolled in my name. The monthly premium was 1,000,001. I had never enrolled in insurance. What's this? I called the insurance company. Hello, I heard there's an insurance policy enrolled in my name. Can you check? After verification, the insurance company employee said, yes, there is an insurance policy enrolled in your name last month. I didn't enroll in it. There's a signature on the contract. That's not my signature. Someone must have done it for me. Then it might be insurance fraud, so you should report it to the police. I hung up and thought, who enrolled insurance in my name? And why? Then I thought of my daughter. My daughter is an insurance agent. Could it be my daughter? I called my daughter. Nick Young, did you enroll any insurance in my name? My daughter was silent for a moment, then answered, Dad, I'm sorry. Sister-in-law asked me to. Mina did? Yes, she said it would be good to have insurance to take care of your health, Dad. So I processed it. Without my consent? She said it was okay, so I used your seal. I got angry. Nick Young, that's illegal. You made a contract without my consent. Dad, I'm sorry. I just listened to sister-in-law. Sister-in-law, sister-in-law. You're only listening to her too. My daughter said tearfully, Dad, I'm really sorry. After hanging up, I sat for a long time. My daughter-in-law was after my account too. Not just my wife's account, but my assets as well. I wrote in my notebook, insurance enrolled in my name without authorization. Daughter-in-law used daughter for illegal contract. Purpose is managing my assets. The night grew late. I closed my notebook and looked out the window. Now it was clear. My daughter-in-law's purpose was money. The reason for sending my wife to a nursing home, the reason for enrolling insurance in my name, it was all because of money. Without my wife, managing accounts becomes easier. If I'm left alone, asset management falls into my daughter-in-law's hands. Everything was planned. I thought it was time to fight back. I had to stop my daughter-in-law's plan. But before that, I had to find my wife. I needed to confirm whether my wife was really at a nursing home or somewhere else. I decided to move seriously starting tomorrow. I couldn't just keep being victimized. The fight for truth is lonely, but I cannot give up. The next morning, I woke up early. Today I plan to start gathering evidence in earnest. The first thing to do was find the nursing home. My daughter-in-law wouldn't tell me, but I had a way to find it myself. I called the district office. Hello, I heard my wife was admitted to a nursing home. Is there a way to confirm which nursing home? The employee answered, after identity verification, you can inquire about nursing home admission records. If you visit and apply, we can help. I headed straight to the district office. I filled out the application form at the civil affairs office and waited. After a moment, the employee came with documents. Sir, I checked, but there's no nursing home registered under your wife's name. What? What do you mean? When someone enters a nursing home, a report goes to the National Health Insurance Service, but there's no report under your wife's name. I was flustered. Not at a nursing home? Then where is my wife? Could it be a nursing home in another area? That's possible. But the National Health Insurance Service database covers the whole country. If there's no record, it's likely not a nursing home admission. I was shocked. My daughter-in-law lied. My wife wasn't at a nursing home. On the way home, I was confused. Then where is my wife? Somewhere else? As soon as I got home, I called my daughter-in-law. Mina, I went to the district office and checked. There's no record of mom's nursing home admission. What's going on? My daughter-in-law was silent for a moment, then said in a flustered voice, Father, the official registration might not be done yet. Official registration? What are you talking about? When entering a nursing home, registration doesn't happen right away. It takes some time. Don't lie. The employee said registration happens immediately upon admission. My daughter-in-law stammered. Father, I'll check. There's nothing to check. Where is mom right now? At a nursing home. Which nursing home? I raised my voice. My daughter-in-law didn't answer. Mina, where did you hide mom? Father, what are you saying? I'm going to report this to the police. A missing person report. My daughter-in-law said in a flustered voice. Father, please calm down. Mother is fine. Then tell me where she is right now. I hung up. I headed straight to the police station. I arrived at the police station and tried to file a missing person report. But the police made an awkward expression. Sir, if family sent her to a nursing home, it's difficult to process as missing. But there's no nursing home admission record. Then if family members are lying, that's a family matter. Then what should I do? First, talk more with your family, and if you really think there's a problem, Get legal consultation. I felt defeated. Even the police couldn't help. I went home. I opened my notebook and organized the evidence I'd gathered so far. 15 million won withdrawn from wife's account over 3 months. No nursing home admission record. Daughter-in-law's lies confirmed. Insurance enrolled in my name without authorization. Now it was certain. My daughter-in-law was hiding my wife somewhere and embezzling money. I decided to see a lawyer. I had to respond legally. The next day, I visited a law office. I explained the situation so far to the lawyer. The lawyer looked at my notebook and said, "You have quite a bit of evidence. The withdrawal history, lack of nursing home admission record, this can definitely be contested." Then what should I do? First, send a certified letter to your daughter-in-law demanding she reveal your wife's whereabouts. If that doesn't work, you can take legal action. Legal action? You can file charges for embezzlement and fraud. And you can also apply to the court to locate your wife. I felt hopeful. I finally found a proper way to fight. Please help me, lawyer. I'm asking you. Don't worry. I'll do my best. On the way home, my heart felt a little lighter. I wasn't alone anymore. The lawyer would fight alongside me. Evening came. I opened my notebook. On the last page, I wrote this. Starting today, I begin my counterattack. I will stop my daughter-in-law's plan and find my wife. I won't give up. The night grew late. I looked out the window. Even in the darkness, stars were shining. I will definitely find my wife. And I will reveal my daughter-in-law's lies. A few days later, I got a call from the lawyer. He sent the certified letter to my daughter-in-law and was waiting for a response. Every day I called the lawyer to ask about progress. I was anxious, but I had to wait. A week passed. A response came from my daughter-in-law. The lawyer told me over the phone. A response came from your daughter-in-law's side. They say your wife is at a nursing hospital. A nursing hospital? Not a nursing home? Yes, they say nursing hospital. They also provided the address. I headed straight to that address. I went with the lawyer. I arrived at the nursing hospital. It was an old, isolated place. I opened the door and went in. A nurse greeted me. "What brings you here?" "I heard my wife Young Suk Seo is here." The nurse checked the list and nodded. "Yes, she is. Room 200 on the second floor." I hurried up to the second floor. I opened the door to room 200. And there, I met my wife. My wife was lying in bed. Her eyes were closed. She didn't react even seeing me. "Honey, it's me. It's Jae-hun." My wife slowly opened her eyes and she looked at me. But her gaze was empty. "Honey, are you okay? What happened?" A nurse came in and said, "The patient is on medication, so she won't be very alert." "Medication? What medication?" "Sleeping pills and sedatives. We're administering them at the guardian's request." I was furious. My daughter-in-law had been drugging my wife to keep her from being alert. "Stop the medication immediately. This is illegal confinement." The lawyer also stepped forward. "If you administered medication without the patient's consent, that could be problematic." The nurse was flustered. "We just followed the guardian's instructions." I decided to take my wife out. I couldn't leave her here any longer. I'm her husband and legal guardian. I'm taking my wife. The hospital didn't stop me. I helped my wife up and got her into the car. On the way home, my wife still had a dazed expression, but she held my hand tightly. "Honey, it's okay now. Let's go home." My wife slowly nodded. I arrived home and laid my wife in bed. She soon fell asleep. I went to the living room and talked with the lawyer. "Now you can file charges against your daughter-in-law. Illegal confinement, embezzlement, fraud. All are established. Please do. I'll fight to the end." A few days later, my daughter-in-law was called to the police. I submitted all the evidence. Account history, nursing hospital records, medication administration facts. My daughter-in-law eventually confessed. She sent my wife to the nursing hospital for money. She admitted she was after my assets. My son was also an accomplice. He admitted he planned it together with my daughter-in-law. I was sad. I never knew my own son and daughter-in-law would do this. But I couldn't forgive them. The trial began. My daughter-in-law and son were found guilty. I decided to live quietly with my wife. I decided not to trust family anymore. But I was grateful just to have my wife by my side. Night fell. I sat next to my wife and held her hand. "Honey, it's okay now. We're together." My wife smiled. It was the warm smile I hadn't seen in a long time. "Thank you, honey." I held my wife's hand tightly. Everything was over now. The war was over, and the truth was revealed. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and leave a word of encouragement in the comments.